The Colorado Buffaloes lose their conference opener to the Houston Cougars in Houston, 36-20. Again, another 400-plus yard performance by the opponent against Colorado. That's 3 now in a row. That's over 1,200 yards, complete offense in 3 games. Let me quickly go through the box score, let you know. Colorado put up 300 total yards, 204 yards passing, 96 rushing, 5.2 a play. While Houston put up 431, 222 yards passing, 209 rushing, 5.6 a play. One of the biggest things total, there was 77 plays on offense for the Houston Cougars versus 58. And here's the bigger thing. There was 6 punts by Colorado versus the 1 punt for Houston. Now, this game could have been a lot different if they weren't kicking field goals, but to give Colorado's defense some credit here, they did, stall them out to field goals. No turnovers in the game, no fumbles lost, but 2 interceptions. Time of possession was about 13 minutes difference, with Houston at 36:45 and Colorado at 23:15. Time of possession was huge. The punts were huge. Ryan Staub comes out. Let me see what he did as a player. Ryan Staub was 19 of 35 for 204 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions, where Connor Wegman was 15 of 24 for 222, no touchdowns, and no interceptions. Did a lot of that with his legs. But here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about this game. This game kind of went like we thought. I'm going to go back and I definitely want to do the good, bad, and ugly. Make sure y'all check it out. That's where I'll break down the good plays, the bad plays, and the ugly plays for Colorado and their opponent. Here's what I'll say. Shout out to Prime Sports Media. Y'all go check them out. Appreciate you for coming through, my brother. Here's what I'll say about this game. And this is where I said you can kind of get a false positive. This game was very close and similar to the Georgia Tech game. The style of offense, the way it was played, the way Connor Wegman kind of ran the ball. He was kind of the heart and soul of the offense, as was Haynes King for Georgia Tech. Very, very similar approach to the game by the opponent. And we talked about Colorado and the defense not being able to stop the run. Well, we clearly saw, again, 400-something yards, but they put 209 yards rushing on the ground. So they were very even in this game. And, when you look at this game, and I know Ryan Staub was the mainstay, and I'll go back and say this. I've been doing this 25 years. 25 years I was coaching. And with that being said, when you make that kind of change at quarterback, here's a couple of things that have happened. One, I don't know the mental state of Caden Salter. Some of y'all don't care. Fine. Ryan Staub didn't play a bad game. I don't think it was very bad, but it wasn't great, right? But again, there are a lot of other things that go into this. Right now, I don't know if Colorado is as talented as people thought they were going to be. The running game couldn't really get going. They had some big runs. They had some big plays. But you got to get that thing going. You got to take some of that pressure off of these quarterbacks in this game. And that's what they didn't do for Colorado as I watched the game in the Discord with the team. And so I say all that to say this. The biggest thing when you're trying to manage a team from a head coach perspective, especially with your quarterback, is you have to manage the psyche. And that's what I think that's where I believe, me personally, that Coach Prime kind of misses the mark with this. They talked about Ryan Staub and Coach Prime talking about he loved the movie Rudy and the underdog. Well, guess what? Believe us or not, Caden Salter is the underdog. He's an underdog as well, right? He's an underdog as well. But when you do that, you kind of pit the two against each other. I don't think Juju Lewis is in this equation yet. He's too young. He's very inexperienced. And so there's an issue. People say, oh, look at Caden Salter's, his demeanor and his attitude. Well, let's call a spade here, guys and ladies. Again, I said this before. The kid did nothing to be benched. He did nothing to be benched. So what? Are we going to now play musical chairs after the game is over and say, all right, Caden Salter, you going to start against Wyoming? I don't know. I don't know what Coach Prime is going to do. He'll tell y'all something in the press conference here in a few minutes. as well as on I think Tuesdays he does his press conferences. So with that being said, you can definitely see where they're going to where they miss Shador, Travis, Jimmy Horn, those kind of guys. All right. Hakeem Williams hasn't really stepped up in that point. Sincere Brown has, but they don't have the same caliber of receivers. I know like our receiver room, it's a little different. It hits just a little bit different. And I'm not here to bash them. I'm not here to knock them. You know what I mean? But it's not what people thought it was going to be. And if you've been around this game long enough and you've been in this game long enough, you know that, right? You know that. And here's where the pointing the fingers comes, right? Now everybody want to stop, everybody want to stop, everybody want to stop. So what is it going to be this week? Now we want Kaden Salter. Maybe y'all want Juju. I don't know. But to me, that's where this whole dilemma started with the way in which that was handled. And you're starting to see the domino effect, the avalanche of this whole thing when you talk about quarterback. It's a very finicky position. Really only one of them plays, and that's what it is. Now, are you going to ask Kaden Salter to come and be the savior? Because you sure seem to ask Ryan Staub to be the savior. And that's going to be a huge issue right here going forward. Now, should Colorado beat Wyoming? Yes. I don't care who plays, whether it's Ryan Staub or Kaden Salter. But it's not about Wyoming. It's about the teams in the conference play you're going to play going forward. And that's what has to be managed properly. I'm not sure what conversations Coach Prime and Coach Pat Shermer have when it comes to who's playing or who's not playing. This is the difference between good coaches and great coaches. Good coaches and great coaches. Good coaches, you got players. Great coaches understand how to manage these things, man. Right? And that's what's very important. And right now, I think there's a dilemma in the quarterback position. There's a dilemma. And the dilemma is, what do you do with Kaden Salter? What do you do with Ryan Staub? What do you do with these cats? And that's the question I don't know. We want to hear from the people. 862-799-9956 is already backing up in the queue. I'm going to ask you guys, please let's adhere to the 2 minutes so we can get people through this because more people are calling. All right. So please keep calling. I'm going to get it to the 2 minutes. Say your piece. You know, we'll try to keep it small and we'll go from there. Let me do a quick roll call here and we'll rock with it. I know I put the wrong date on there, but we're live right now. It automatically did it, but I apologize. Thank you. I appreciate that. Amanda, 24 hour, huh? DP in the building. That boy got an hour. Like, an hour? Get out of here. Not tomorrow. Coach T, I repeat, Deion can't coach. Team is a train wreck. Oh, my God. Shout out to Brett. Go Big Red. I guess he's shout out with Houston. Ed is my Keys, what's up, baby? That boy say, man, I thought Staub was the savior. So did a lot of people. And I told y'all it was Delaware. Don't see teams that you play like that create false positives, right? They create a false positive. It looks a certain way. The optics are great. You scrambling eggs. You're not making a souffle up in this joint. Maybe that was a bad analogy, but y'all know where I'm going. Ain't like I cook. Juju headed to the portal. Sport Mark. Let's see what excuses people make tonight. Houston was wrecked with injuries before and during the game. We're going to hear that as well. Everybody's hurt up, right? I saw Coach Prime. I think they put out a list of injuries about this long. Houston had an injury about this long. Oh, this person was hurt. That person was hurt. Blah blah blah. I know. I'm trying to go through some of these. We got quite a few. No problem, brother. Anytime. Y'all make sure y'all go check out Prime Sports Media. My man got great content. Go check him out, man. Let's see here. T8 says, when you force Star to be QB1 and doesn't live up to it, now we have a real quarterback problem. That's kind of what we were saying. And here's the deal. It's bigger than the quarterback. I'm going to say this, and y'all may not believe this. Offensive line is not very good, guys. They're bigger. But they're not very good. They're not. People don't want to believe that. People are going to say, "Oh, cool." They're not cohesive right now. Looks like they're all playing like individuals, and that's where the problem is. And I know everybody's going to go at Pat Shermer, because here's what's funny: when you saw Caden Salter come out in those first two drives, he don't push the ball down the field. Well, guess what? That was the beginning of the game. He played 2 drives and scored. Guess what you saw at the beginning of this game? Almost the same game plan. Short, dink, dunk, 5-yard passes by Ryan Staub. When Ryan Staub came in the game with 35, 38 seconds, whatever it was, against Delaware, the situation in the scenario, like I said pregame, determined or dictated that he pushed the ball down the field. We have to understand these things, and that's where the problem lies. People don't want to understand this. Everybody thinks what you see is what you see. It doesn't work that way. And that's where I think the issue is. And now he's trying to force plays. Therefore, you get the interception. Right? I'm not even worried about the interception at the very end of the game, trying to make a play. People talked about Caden Salter, his accuracy. I get it. I don't know if Ryan Staub is always as accurate as he should be. And he takes some chances with the ball. He does. And I understand it. I ain't mad at it. I get it. All right. But they're going to tear Pat Shermer head up. Oh, the CU aunties and the uncles and the grifters and whatever, they're going to come out here. Pat Shermer is on the take. Pat Shermer. Well, guess what? Georgia Tech and Houston look like the same team with 2 different uniforms on. Same team with 2 different uniforms on. Because here's what's funny. He threw 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. So should not he be benched?